Okay, we will start then. Good afternoon, everyone. The last lecture we have started our new unit number 3, highway materials. So in that we have covered first a little bit portion of that also. The last lecture we have seen the syllabus, what is the pavement, what is meant by the flexible pavement, what is meant by the rigid pavement, what the characteristics are there, what the layers are there for the flexible pavement, and what the layers are there for the rigid pavement. Okay. Then what are the characteristics of the pavements? How, when we can say that the pavement is flexible, when we can say pavement is rigid pavement. So these are, this we have seen in the last lecture. So layers of the pavement depends on the type of pavement. If there is a flexible pavement, the layers are categorized as surface dressing, then the surface course, base course, or in between binder may be there, then sub base course, then the whatever the subgrade will be there. Okay. In the rigid pavement, in the subgrade and the rigid pavement surface course, only one layer might be provided, and that might be called as a base layer or sub base layer. Means what? Surface layer, base layer, and last one is the subgrade layer. Okay. So that much only provided into the rigid pavement. Then these are the pictures that we have seen in the last lecture, and also I have told about why this joints are provided into the rigid pavement to avoid the temperature stresses. Okay, to avoid the cracks due to the temperature stresses. Okay, due to the temperature stresses, there might be a cracks into the pavement if we don't provide the joints. Okay, if you provide the joints, then there will be the less chances of cracks in the pavement, because the pavement will have the free access to elongate and contract. Okay, due to the, because we have provided the joints, longitudinal joint or transverse joint, it has the free access to elongate or the contract. Due to this, what will happen? The temperature stresses will not be developed into the concrete pavement. Then, so ultimately, what will happen? The cracks will not be produced into the pavement. Okay, so cracks will not be there. Then we have seen the flexible pavement. Then these are very important. The layers of the flexible pavement: the surface course, binder course, base course, sub-base course, and the compacted subgrade. And below that, there will be the natural subgrade. Okay, natural subgrade, it is the undisturbed layer. Okay, natural subgrade is the undisturbed layer. Then we have seen how the grain to grain distribution of the stresses will be there in the flexible pavement, and the different coats will be there. In the surface coats, above the surface dressing, there will be the seal coat. Below that, there will be the tack coat, and below that, there will be the prime coat. Okay, so these three coats we can provide. Then different layers, the surface course, then below that binder course, below that base course, then sub base course, and the subgrade. Okay. So this we have seen in the flexible, in the rigid as well. We have seen the different layers, and we have seen the soil subgrade. Okay, and we have started with our first material, that is soil. Okay, you can see here the compacted side. You can see, we can say a subgrade to it. It should be compacted depending on the type of soil, because different kind of compactors are available for the different kind of soils. Then the soil types that we have seen, when we can say the clay soil, sandy soil, lean, muru. Okay, then according to the sizes, we have categorized the different types of the soils that we have seen into the last lecture. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, so according to the sizes also we have categorized the soil as the gravel soil, sandy soil, silty soil and clay soil. Okay. Then also we have seen the different. Sorry for disturbance. Then up to here we have covered into the first lecture. Now we have to test the first material, that is the soil. Okay, there are different materials that we need to test. That in that the first one is the soil test. Okay, in the soil test we go for the different tests like the CBR value test and the plate load test. Okay, mainly these two tests are done on the soil to check the strength of the soil, bearing capacity and penetration of that soil. Okay, that we are going to study in this tests. So subgrade soil is an integral part of the road pavement structure as it is provided to support the pavement from the beneath. Okay, the subgrade soil is the main important first layer from the bottom. Okay, I am taking from the bottom. The first layer is what? Subgrade soil. Okay, and whatever the all the loads are coming on the pavement, all these loads are finally transferred to the subgrade soil. So we need to check the bearing capacity of that subgrade soil. Okay. The subgrade soil and its properties are important in the design of the pavement structure. The main function of the subgrade is to give the adequate support to the pavement, and for this the subgrade should possess the sufficient stability under the adverse climate and the loading condition. Whatever will be the climate condition, whatever will be the loading condition, soil will should have the stability. Okay, soil should be stable enough to sustain the whatever the loads are there coming on the that subgrade from the pavement. Okay, if the bearing capacity is well enough, then it can easily sustain the loads. If the bearing capacity is less than the required, then there will be the failure of the pavement. Okay, so it is very important to understand or calculate the bearing capacity of that soil. Therefore, it is very essential to evaluate the subgrade by the conducting test. Okay, so we have to evaluate the subgrades by performing the different types of the tests on that subgrade. The tests used to evaluate the strength properties of the soil may be broadly divided into the three groups. Okay, mainly what we are going to calculate into the tests: the shearing test, bearing test, and penetration test. Okay, that we are going to cover. So the first test is the CBR, called it as the California Bearing Ratio Test. CBR stands for California Bearing Ratio Test. Okay. So first test is California Bearing Ratio. This is the penetration test developed by the California Division of the Highway to evaluate the stability of soil subgrade and the subbase course. Okay. As it is derived in the California division, so it is named as the California Bearing Ratio Test. Okay, and this is used to evaluate the stability of the soil subgrade and the subgrade soils. Okay. It consists of the piston have the diameter of 50 mm, which is used to penetrate the soil at the standard rate of 1.25 mm per minute. Okay, this is very important. In this test, we are gradually applying the load. On the standard penetration load applied is 1.25 mm per minute. Okay, this much is load gradually applied on the soil. Okay, now you'll see how this test is carried out for better understanding.
हेलो एंड वेलकम टू सिविल इंजीनियरिंग क्विक सॉल्यूशन। तो आज हम बात करेंगे CBR टेस्ट की, जिसकी फुल फॉर्म है कैलिफोर्निया बेरिंग रेशियो टेस्ट। तो इस टेस्ट में हम देखें कि CBR टेस्ट क्यों करते हैं हम, इसमें क्या क्या इंस्ट्रूमेंट हम यूज़ करते हैं और पूरे इस टेस्ट को अच्छे से एनालाइज करेंगे। तो सबसे पहले बात करते हैं CBR की। तो CBR टेस्ट को हम करते हैं फ्लेक्सिबल पेमेंट की सबग्रेड सॉइल की स्ट्रेंथ फाइंड करने के लिए। यानी कि हमारे पास एक स्टैंडर्ड मटेरियल होता है जिसकी CBR वैल्यू 100% होती है। उसके रिस्पेक्ट में हम देखते हैं कि जो मिट्टी हम सबग्रेड में यूज़ करने वाले हैं अपने रोड में, उसकी स्ट्रेंथ क्या होगी, उसको फाइंड करते हैं हम इस टेस्ट की हेल्प से। तो अब बात करते हैं इसमें क्या क्या इंस्ट्रूमेंट हम यूज़ करते हैं। इसमें हम यूज़ करते हैं एक मोल्ड जिसका डायमीटर होता है 150 mm और जिसकी हाइट होती है 175 mm। उसके साथ हम एक कॉलर भी यूज़ करते हैं और एक डिटैचेबल बेस प्लेट जो कि परफोरेटेड हो, यानी कि जिसमें नीचे छेद हो। उसके बाद स्पेसर डिस्क जिसका डाया 148 mm और जिसकी हाइट 47.7 mm होती है। उसके बाद एक वेट यूज़ करते हैं जो कि 2.6 kg का हो और जो फ्री फॉल कर सके 310 mm से। ऐसे ही एक और वेट यूज़ करते हैं जो कि 4.89 kg का हो और जो 450 mm से फ्री फॉल कर सके। इसके अलावा 2.5 kg का सरचार्ज वेट हो जिसमें 53 mm का सेंट्रल होल भी हो। एक लोडिंग मशीन जिसकी कैपेसिटी एटलीस्ट 5000 kg होनी चाहिए। उसके बाद एक पेनिट्रेशन प्लंजर जिसकी हाइट 100 mm हो और जो डाया हो वो 50 mm हो। 2 डायल गेजेस। इसके अलावा वेट करने के लिए मशीन हो और एक पैन हो जिसमें हम सैंपल को मिक्स कर सकें। उसके अलावा मिक्सिंग टूल हो, पानी के लिए एक जार हो। सो ये सभी इंस्ट्रूमेंट हम इसमें यूज़ करेंगे। इसके बाद हम टेस्ट को करेंगे दो पार्ट में। पहले हम सैंपल प्रिपेयर करेंगे, यानी कि सैंपल को हम तैयार करेंगे। उसके बाद उसकी पेनिट्रेशन करेंगे, यानी कि उसको टेस्ट करेंगे। तो ये जो सैंपल हम इसमें प्रिपेयर करेंगे, इसको हम दो तरह से प्रिपेयर करते हैं। फर्स्ट होगा हमारा स्टैटिक कॉम्पैक्शन और सेकंड होगा डायनेमिक कॉम्पैक्शन। तो जो स्टैटिक कॉम्पैक्शन होता है उसका मतलब ये होता है कि जो उसमें हम लोड अप्लाई करेंगे वो ग्रेजुअली करेंगे, यानी कि हम एकदम से लोड अप्लाई नहीं करेंगे, धीरे धीरे से लोड को बढ़ाएंगे। और जो हमारा डायनेमिक कॉम्पैक्शन होता है उसमें हम क्या करते हैं, सडन इम्पैक्ट देते हैं। जो डायनेमिक कॉम्पैक्शन हम इस सैंपल में यूज़ करेंगे आगे। तो अब बात करते हैं, हमारे पास दो तरह के डायनेमिक कॉम्पैक्शन होते हैं। एक होता है लाइट कॉम्पैक्शन, एक होता है हैवी कॉम्पैक्शन। तो जो लाइट कॉम्पैक्शन होता है ये हम दोनों ही कॉम्पैक्शन
Let's see here. This is a very important chart. Now we are going to study the how we are going to test the CBR value for the soil. In this, we have to go for the compaction. Okay, and depending on the different type of compaction, we are using here two types: the light compaction and the heavy compaction. Okay, in the light compaction, the for the light compaction, number of layers in how much layer we are compacting the soil is a 3. In the heavy compaction, we are compacting the soil into the 5 layers. Then for the compacting, we are using the rammer. Okay, for the compacting, how to compact with the rammers, that we will going to see in further video. In next part of the video, we are using the rammer for the compaction, and weight of this rammer for the light compaction it is 2.6 kg. And from the height, how much height we are falling the rammer on the soil, it is from the 31 centimeter. Okay, so I will tell you now for the light compaction. In the light compaction, we are compacting the soil into the 3 layers by using the rammer of the weight 2.6 kg, which is falling from the height of 31 centimeter. And here we are going to give the number of blows or the number of compactions as a 56. Okay, and in the heavy compaction test, we are using 5 layers. Then we are using the rammer of the size 4.89 kg. and falling height of that rammer it is 45 centimeter, and the number of blows given as 56. This is a very important chart. Please everyone write down this chart. Number of times questions are asked on this chart. Write down this chart. Make 2-3 columns. In first column, write down number of deers, rammer weight, fall, and blows. Number of blows per deer. Number of blows per deer. Second column, light compaction, and for third column is for heavy compaction. Okay, this is a very important chart. Everyone, please write down this chart. It's very important exam point of view. Example point of view, खूप important आहे हा chart. Very important chart. Done. Okay. See the next part.
दोनों तरह के लाइट और हैवी कॉम्पैक्शन हम रैमर यूज़ करेंगे इसमें। तो इसमें हम जो लाइट कॉम्पैक्शन में हम क्या करते हैं, जब सैंपल को प्रिपेयर करेंगे तो हम इसमें 3 लेयर्स में सैंपल को प्रिपेयर करेंगे, और जो हमारी ईच लेयर होगी उसमें जो नंबर ऑफ़ ब्लोज यूज़ करेंगे वो 56 नंबर ऑफ़ ब्लोज हर एक लेयर में हम, यानी कि हम एक मिट्टी की लेयर डालेंगे और 56 नंबर ऑफ़ ब्लोज देंगे रैमर के साथ, जिसका वेट होगा 2.6 kg, और जिसको हम फ्री फॉल कराएंगे 31 सेंटीमीटर से, यानी कि 31 सेंटीमीटर की ऊंचाई से हम उसको छोड़ेंगे। वो मिट्टी के ऊपर अपना लोड एकदम से अप्लाई करेगा, फिर उसकी कॉम्पैक्शन होगी अच्छे से। ऐसे ही हमारे पास हैवी कॉम्पैक्शन होता है। इसमें हम सैंपल को प्रिपेयर करते हैं 5 लेयर्स में, और इसमें भी हमारा ईच लेयर के लिए, यानी कि आपने एक लेयर डाली और 56 नंबर ऑफ़ ब्लोज दिए, लेकिन यहाँ पे हमारा जो चेंज हो जाता है वो है वेट। यहाँ पे जो हमारे रैमर का वेट होगा वो होगा 4.89 kg, और जो हमारा फ्री फॉल होगा वो भी यहाँ पे चेंज हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा 45 सेंटीमीटर। तो ये सब आपको याद रखना है। तो ऐसे हम अपने सैंपल को प्रिपेयर करते हैं। तो अब हम डायनामिकली कंपैक्टेड हमारा सैंपल जो है वो तैयार करेंगे। उसके लिए सबसे पहले हम मोल्ड को असेंबल कर लेते हैं। इसमें जो हमारी बेस प्लेट होती है मोल्ड के, उसके ऊपर हम स्पेसर डिस्क, जिसमें कि एक होल होता है, उस होल को नीचे की तरफ करके उसके ऊपर स्पेसर डिस्क को रख देते हैं और उसके ऊपर हम लगा देते हैं फ़िल्टर पेपर। उसके बाद हम क्या करते हैं, हम जो हमारा मोल्ड होता है उसको अंदर से एक लुब्रिकेट के साथ अच्छे से लुब्रिकेशन कर देते हैं उसका, ताकि जो हमारी सॉइल है वो उसके साथ ना चिपके। उसके बाद इस मोल्ड को स्पेसर डिस्क के ऊपर रख के इनके क्लैंप्स को टाइट कर देते हैं और ऐसे ही इस मोल्ड के ऊपर एक कॉलर लगा देते हैं। कॉलर लगा के उसके भी क्लैंप्स को हम टाइट कर लेते हैं।
My job is to make college easier because students have a lot on their Sorry, coach.
अब हम 5 kg का सॉइल सैंपल लेंगे। उसके अंदर हम एक सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर डालेंगे, यानी कि उसके अंदर हम इतना पानी डालेंगे जिससे कि सॉइल का जो वाटर कंटेंट है या तो उसके ऑप्टिमम मॉइस्चर कंटेंट जितना हो या उसके फील्ड मॉइस्चर कंटेंट जितना हो। उसके बाद उसको अच्छे से मिक्स करने के बाद हम क्या करेंगे, उस सॉइल को उस मोल्ड के अंदर डालेंगे और फिर हम उसकी कॉम्पैक्शन करेंगे। आफ्टर कॉम्पैक्शन, यानी कि कॉम्पैक्शन के बाद जो सॉइल है वो मोल्ड के अंदर या तो 1/3 हो या 1/5 हो, वो डिपेंड करेगा कि आप लाइट कॉम्पैक्शन यूज़ कर रहे हो या हैवी कॉम्पैक्शन। तो ऐसे करके हम अच्छे से कॉम्पैक्शन करेंगे उस सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ लोड के साथ, जैसे कि हम लाइट कॉम्पैक्शन आफ्टर
Here how the compaction is done. The rammer used to compaction here. How the way the compaction by using rammer is done here. You can see here the how the blows are given with the help of rammer. Just you have to lift the head and release it. It will compact automatically.
आफ्टर कॉम्पैक्शन, यानी कि कॉम्पैक्शन के
See here
बाद
how it
जो
is.
सॉइल है वो मोल्ड के अंदर या तो 1/3 हो या 1/5 हो, वो डिपेंड करेगा कि आप लाइट कॉम्पैक्शन यूज़ कर रहे हो या हैवी कॉम्पैक्शन। तो ऐसे करके हम अच्छे से कॉम्पैक्शन करेंगे उस सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ लोड के साथ, जैसे कि हम लाइट कॉम्पैक्शन में 2.6 kg का रैमर यूज़ करेंगे और 56 नंबर ऑफ ब्लोज देंगे उसके अंदर। तो ऐसे करके हम दूसरी लेयर भी डाल लेंगे, दूसरी लेयर की भी कॉम्पैक्शन करेंगे, फिर ऐसे करके तीसरी लेयर भी डालेंगे और फिर कॉम्पैक्शन करने के बाद हम क्या करेंगे, उस मोल्ड के ऊपर वाला कॉलर को निकाल लेंगे। तो उसके बाद क्या करेंगे, जो इस सैंपल का ऊपर वाली जो सरफेस है उसको हम ट्रिम कर लेंगे, यानी कि उस सरफेस को प्लेन कर लेंगे। फिर क्या करेंगे, इस मोल्ड को निकालने के बाद इसके नीचे से फ़िल्टर पेपर निकाल लेंगे और नीचे क्या करेंगे, दोबारा नया दूसरा फ़िल्टर पेपर लगाएंगे और इस मोल्ड को अब हम उल्टा करके रखेंगे, यानी कि जहाँ पे हमने कॉम्पैक्शन दी थी अब वो सरफेस नीचे होगा और दूसरा सरफेस हमारा ऊपर आ जाएगा जो पहले नीचे था। उससे पहले हम अपने जो मोल्ड है, ये सैंपल है, इसका हम वेट कर लेंगे और उसके बाद इस मोल्ड के अंदर हम एक एनुलर वेट जो 2.5 kg का होगा वो इसके अंदर डाल देंगे। फिर हम क्या करेंगे, हम लोडिंग मशीन को तैयार करेंगे, उसमें प्रूविंग रिंग को लगाएंगे, डायल गेज को प्लेस करेंगे और अपने जो हमारा मोल्ड है, जो ये सैंपल है, उसको इस मशीन के अंदर प्लेस कर देंगे। उसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे, प्रूविंग रिंग और इसके साथ सैंपल का कांटेक्ट करने के लिए इसमें एक प्लंजर लगाएंगे और हम क्या करेंगे, 4 kg का सिटिंग लोड इसके अंदर लगा देंगे। उसके बाद डायल गेजेस और प्रूविंग रिंग दोनों की हम रीडिंग 0 कर देंगे और उसके साथ साथ हम इसके अंदर एक और जो 2.5 kg का लोड ऐड करेंगे। ये सभी लोड आपने याद रखने हैं, हमने इसमें 3 लोड लगाए हैं, वो सभी आपको याद रखने हैं। तो दोनों डायल गेजेस को 0 करने के बाद हम इसको टेस्ट को स्टार्ट करेंगे। तो जो हमारी रेट ऑफ पेनिट्रेशन होगी वो इसके अंदर होगी 1.25 mm पर मिनट। तो इसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे, हमें रीडिंग्स नोट करनी है अलग अलग पेनिट्रेशन पे, यानी कि फर्स्ट जो रीडिंग आप नोट करोगे वो 0.5 mm पेनिट्रेशन पे होगी, फिर 1 mm पे, फिर 1.5 mm पेनिट्रेशन पे, ऐसे करके 2 mm पे, 4 mm पे, 5 mm पे, 7.5 mm पे, 10 mm पे और 12.5 mm पे हमें जो पेनिट्रेशन की रीडिंग आएगी वो हमें नोट करनी है। इन सभी वैल्यूज से आपके पास एक ग्राफ बन जाएगा जो कि पेनिट्रेशन और लोड के कोरस्पॉन्डिंग आपके पास ये ग्राफ आ जाएगा। तो हम जो CBR वैल्यू फाइंड करते हैं वो हम फाइंड करते हैं 2.5 mm की पेनिट्रेशन के कोरस्पॉन्डिंग और 5 mm की पेनिट्रेशन के कोरस्पॉन्डिंग। तो यहाँ पे जब आप 2.5 mm पेनिट्रेशन से जब आप CBR वैल्यू को फाइंड करोगे तो आपको एक फॉर्मूले में वैल्यूज डालनी पड़ेंगी, तो आपके पास CBR वैल्यू आ जाएगी। तो फॉर्मूले में क्या आएगा, टेस्ट लोड कोरस्पॉन्डिंग टू 2.5 mm पेनिट्रेशन डिवाइडेड बाय स्टैंडर्ड लोड फॉर 2.5 mm पेनिट्रेशन मल्टीप्लाई बाय 100। यानी कि आप क्या करोगे, जो लोड 2.5 mm के पेनिट्रेशन के कोरस्पॉन्डिंग आपके पास आया है वो लोड, और जो लोड स्टैंडर्ड है उसको आप डिवाइड करके मल्टीप्लाई बाय 100 से कर दोगे, तो आपके पास 2.5 के कोरस्पॉन्डिंग जो हमारी CBR वैल्यू आ जाएगी। ऐसे ही करके आप जो 2.5 की जगह 5 mm रख के लोड को, आपके पास 5 mm की कोरस्पॉन्डिंग आ जाएगी। तो ऐसे हम इस टेस्ट को करते हैं। तो इन वैल्यूज़ को हम यूज़ करते हैं जब आप फ्लेक्सिबल पेमेंट का जब डिज़ाइन करोगे, वहाँ पे जब हम फ्लेक्सिबल पेमेंट की थिकनेस को हम इन वैल्यूज से हम उसको निकालते हैं। तो आई होप इसमें आपको सब समझ आया होगा। अगर इसमें आपको कुछ ना समझ आया तो आप कमेंट सेक्शन में मुझसे।
So see here, the most important term is we are always calculating the penetration value at the standard 2.5 mm penetration and 5 mm penetration. See, they have shown here in the chart. They have calculated the load value for 2.5 mm penetration and for the 5 mm penetration. How much will be the penetration and how much will be the standard penetration. Okay. So this is what about the CBR test that we have conducted. We are going to conduct, we will also see into the practical how that conduct CBR test is conducted. So we have now the overview, the idea regarding the CBR test, why it is calculated, how it is calculated, what is the outcome of this test. Okay, because whenever we are going to study anything or any test, before studying or after the studying that test, why to study, we should know. Okay, why this test is need to be studied, what are the outcome of this study, how this test is to be carried out. After going to conducting this test, what should be the result values. Okay, that we need to understand. Okay. So we'll see now for the CBR test. So see, this is the what the CBR test apparatus that we are using, California Bearing Ratio Test Apparatus. Then we will see the procedure. The laboratory CBR apparatus consists of the mold of 150 mm diameter with the base plate and the collar, the loading frame and the dial gauge are shown in the graph. Okay, so we have seen there is one cylinder we are using here with the diameter of that cylinder is 150 mm. Okay, and we are compacting the soil into that cylinder into the 3 layers or in the 5 layers depending on the which type of loading it, compacting layer. If there is light compacting, we have to use 3 layers. If it is heavy compacting, we have to go for the 5 layers. And there are the different loads that we have to use for the different compactions. The specimen of the soil is soaked in the water for 95 hours, and the swelling and the water absorption value are not. Okay, here we have to ensure the water should be contacted with the soil because we have to obtain the optimum moisture content into the soil. Okay, what is the reason to apply the water into the soil is to obtain the optimum moisture content into the soil and the field moisture content. Whatever will be the field moisture into the field, that should be attained into the laboratory. So that purpose we are adding the water. Load is applied on the sample by standard plunger with the diameter 50 mm and at the rate of 1.25 mm ball. Okay. How the loading rate should be there? The loading rate should be 1.25 mm per minute. Carry out the test up to 12.5 mm penetration. A graph is plotted between the load versus pressure and the penetration. Okay, that then we have to need to plot the graph between the load and the pressure and penetration values. The load value are noted corresponding to 2.5 mm and 5 mm penetration. Okay, now we have to calculate the how much should be the load for the standard value. And for this test, the standard penetration values are considered as 2.5 mm and 5 mm. Okay, 2.5 mm penetration, how much should be the load? And for 5 mm penetration, how much should be? That we need to find out. And after that, calculate the CBR value corresponding to the 2.5 mm and 5 mm penetration. Okay, for that two corresponding values, we need to find out the, we need to calculate the CBR value. Okay. So what is the formula for the calculating the CBR percentage? CBR percentage is equal to load carried out by the specimen at 2.5 mm and 5 mm penetration to the load carried by standard specimen at corresponding penetration. Into we have to go for into 100, then we will get the CBR into the percentage. Write down this formula. Load carried out by specimen, load carried out by the specimen at 2.5 mm 2.5 mm or 5 mm penetration, load carried by specimen at 2.5 mm or 5 mm penetration divided by whole divided by load carried by the standard specimen, load carried by the standard specimen at corresponding penetration. Means what? If we are dealing with 2.5 mm, then we have to go for the standard penetration for the standard specimen at 2.5 mm penetration. And if we are dealing with 5 mm penetration, then we have to go for the corresponding standard. Okay, and whole into 100. Whole into 100. Into 100, we need to go for to calculate the CBR into the percentage. Below that, write down standard load values. We also know the standard load values that are used while calculating the penetration. Make that table penetration in the mm, load, that is standard load for that standard penetration value, and the pressure for that standard penetration value. Please write down these loads once it is asked for MCQ. Load for the standard penetration. So you should know this, the standard load for the standard penetration. Write down this table. All of you, please write down this table. write down the values for the standard penetrations. How much should be the load value? How much should be the pressure for that standard penetration? Done? Have you written?
Done, sir.
Okay. So see here, this is very important table. How much should be the standard load values should be taken for the standard penetration, that is for the 2.5 mm penetration and for the 5 mm penetration values. Yeah. And this is very important note. Please see after the various calculations, we need to calculate the CBR percentage value for 2.5 mm penetration and 5 mm penetration. Okay, these two we are taking as a standard of penetration values. Whatever the CBR value it is there for 2.5 per mm penetration, it should be greater than 5 mm penetration. Please remember this note and write down this note. Everyone, please write down this note. It is very important. If the CBR value of 2.5 mm penetration is greater than 5 mm, then it is okay. And if it is less than 2.5, if the 5 mm penetration value is greater than 2.5 mm, then we have to repeat the test. Okay, means what? The 2.5 mm penetration value, CBR value for 2.5 mm penetration should always be greater than 5 mm penetration. If it is not happen, then we need to go for the repeating. We have to repeat the test. Okay, write down this note. If the CBR value, of 2.5 mm, CBR value of 2.5 mm is greater than 5 mm, that's okay. That's okay. And if CBR values of 5 mm are greater than 2.5 mm, then test need to be repeated. Okay, then the test to be repeated. Test needs to be repeated. Write down this note. So see, after that, we need to plot the graph for different penetration values, and we need to calculate the load for 2.5 mm penetration and 5 mm penetration. Okay. the load penetration value of the CBR test conducted on the two soil specimens of a particular soil are given below. Determine the average CBR value of the soil if the 10 division load dial presents 20 kg load in the calibration chart of the proving. Then they have given one example how to do the calculations. To know the calculation, one example is given here. Determine the average CBR value for the soil if the 10 division load dial represents the 20 kg in the calibration chart proving. Okay, then suppose for the 0 mm penetration, we have kept the two specimens which shows the reading as 0, 0. Then for different penetration values, what should be the load which the dial gauge is showing, dial reading divisions for the specimen 1 and specimen 2. Different loadings are given here for different types of the penetration values. Then we need to plot the chart load against the penetration. Okay, we need to plot the chart for the values, load value against the penetration value. Okay, and by that graph, we have to find out the load value for the standard penetration. That is for 2.5 mm and 5 mm penetration. Okay, we need to find out for the two values. See here, the arrows are shown here, the lines are drawn here for 2.5 mm and for 5 mm penetration. Okay, we need to see these values. They have shown the calculation. The dial reading at 2.5 mm penetration shows the 35 divisions. Then the 2.5 mm load penetration is equal to 34 into 190/100 is gives 64 kg. Means see here the value only, concentrate on the value for the load 2.5 mm penetration. Soil has given the load of 64.6 kg. Okay, and the CBR value, how we can calculate the load at 2.5 mm divided by the load of standard specimen at 2.5 mm penetration. Okay, that we need to calculate. So here we have got the load for 2.5 mm as 64.6 kg. And what should be the standard load that we have written into the chart? Standard load value for 2.5 mm penetration. How much it is there? Here we have drawn this chart. See here in this chart it is given standard load values for 2.5 mm penetration and for the 5 mm penetration. So for 2.5 it is 1370 kg and for 5 mm it is 2055 kg. This should be the standard load values for the different penetration. See here, so we can go for the CBR for 2.5 mm penetration is equal to 64.6 divided by 1370. Okay, what is our formula? The load for the particular penetration value, as we are dealing here with the 2.5 mm, the load which is there for 2.5 mm penetration whole divided by standard load for 2.5 mm. What is the standard load values are there that we have the chart for 2.5 mm, it is 1370. Okay, so we need to go for 64.6 divided by 1370. So whatever this CBR value, the CBR value is equal to 4.71%. Okay, this is for 2.5 mm penetration. Similarly, suppose the load at the rate 5 mm penetration is the 91.2 kgs. Okay, the same formula, the load at 5 mm penetration whole divided by standard load at 5 mm penetration into 100. Okay, and we know the load at 5 mm penetration, how much it is come? It came as 91.2 kg divided by how much standard load for 5 mm we are taking. We have the chart for 5 mm it is 2055 kg. So go for the calculation, we will get it as 4.43. Okay. See here for 2.5 mm we have got 4.71 percentage, and for 5 mm we have got 4.43 percentage. See here the 2.5 mm penetration value CBR value is greater than the 5 mm penetration CBR value. Hence it is okay. Okay. Always the CBR value for 2.5 mm penetration should be greater than 5 mm value. See here how much it is came. For 2.5 mm it is 4.71, and for 5 mm it is 4.343. Okay. So by this we can say hence it is okay. We can use this soil. If it is not okay, if the 5 mm will be greater than the 2.5, we need to go for the repetition of the test. Okay, we have to repeat the test in that case. See, by that value we need to plot the graph. We need the same calculation, it is repeated. Okay, so we have gone through the first test on the soil, that is the CBR test. We got the clear picturized idea how it is calculated by the video. Okay, how what should be the outcome of this test. Okay, and this is calculated to find out the CBR percentage value of the soil. Now we will see the plate bearing test. Okay, the second test on the soil is plate load test. We can also call it as plate load test. It is a loading test which is carried out on the subgrade soil in the field with the load bearing area to find support power of the subgrade, which is represented by the modulus of the subgrade reaction. See here the most important term what we need to calculate by this experiment is modulus of a subgrade reaction, that is K. Okay, and this test is performed on the field. See here in the exam, this might be asked. They may give the different test and they may ask whether this test is laboratory test or this test is field test. Okay, so we should know all the tests which are performed into the laboratory, which are performed on the site. Okay, for the CBR test it is performed into the laboratory, and now we are dealing with the plate load test which is performed into on the site. Okay, we also should know the which test is performed on the site and which test is performed on the in the laboratory. Okay, so it consists of the sets of plates of the diameter 75 centimeters, 60 centimeter, 45 centimeter, and 30 centimeter. The standard size of the plate is bearing is 75 centimeter. There are different sizes of the plates are available into the market. 75 centimeter dia means circular plate are there. 60 centimeter dia, 45 and 30 centimeter. Mostly we are using the 75 centimeter. How the test is carried out, we will see by one video. So clear picturized idea will be there by this video.
Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another video on Shallow Foundation series. In this video tutorial we are going to see plate load test that is used to determine bearing capacity and the settlement of shallow foundation. So we'll start with the arrangement of this test. First, the center of this test is the test plate that you can see at the bottom of the arrangement. Second thing is hydraulic jack. The function of this hydraulic jack is to apply the load on this plate. Third, dial gauges. You need at least 2 dial gauges. You can provide 3 or 4 depending upon your budget. And you need one more dial gauge that is not shown in this video or this picture, that dial gauge is used to measure the load that is being applied. Third thing is reaction beam, or sometime you may have a reaction truss as well, and some supporting arrangement that is required. Okay, so this is not a typical loading arrangement. These arrangements are like, if you go on internet and search for plate load test, you will find different ways of conducting the plate load test. This is just one of that kind. Okay, so this is all about the basic arrangement of the plate load test. Remember, the most important thing in this test is the plate itself. Okay, so what we do when we start doing the plate load test is, first of all, we create this ditch that you see over here. It is also called a test pit. Okay, the width of this test pit, this one that you see horizontal, this is equals to at least 5 times of width of your plate. That is required as per our IS code, that must be carefully followed. Okay, anything else in this? No. Okay, let's go ahead. Next, we'll talk about this plate itself, because as I said, plate is the most important part in this plate load test. So test plate located at the bottom. So what you do is, you create a test pit like this, and in this test pit you create yet another pit, a small depression, and that depression is a size of that. You see another pit inside this bigger pit. That depression is a size of your plate itself. Usually it is 25 mm in depth, and width equals to width of the plate. This is what your plate looks like. Thickness, the minimum thickness of the plate, it is made of course, mild steel. The minimum thickness is 25 mm. Why 25 mm? Because less than 25 mm your plate will bend after the application of load. So you will need at least 25 mm. You could go on higher side, let's say 27, 30, 35. You can also do it like this. Second one, size of the plate should be between 300 mm to 750 mm. And the most important thing, the depth to width ratio of this plate should be equals to depth to width ratio of your foundation. If it is not possible to have equal, but that ratio should be approximately equals to depth to width ratio of your foundation. This is very important. Okay, otherwise you will not be able to correlate your data with your actual foundation. Next, let's say BP is the width of plate. In that case, this width, as we talked about earlier, width of the test pit should be equals to 5 times width of the plate. Shape of the plate, it could be either square, circular, rectangular, depending upon which shape of foundation you have. If you have a square foundation, you are going to construct a square foundation. The test plate that you are going to use should be in square. Or if your foundation is circular, let's say in case of a chimneys or in case of some machine foundation, we have to create a circular foundation, then in that case your test plate should be in circular shape. Okay, next, type of loading. How do you apply the load? That totally depends on foundation. Then in that case,
see, this is very important chart. The terms that shown here. Whenever we are dealing with the calculating the how much should be the load carrying capacity of any kind of foundations or the soil beneath the foundation, okay, we need to go for the plate load test. Okay, so how to use the plates, it is totally depend on the type of foundation. Okay, if we are going for the square foundation, we need to use a square plate. Okay, and if we need to find out the circular foundation, we need to go with the circular plate. And generally the depth to the TP, that is the depth of the plate, the depth of the width of the plate, that ratio should be equal to the foundation depth to the foundation width. Means what? This, see here, they have shown by the formula dP by dBP should be equal to dF by dF. At least it should be near about same. Okay. So the width of the cut, that is the foundation trench, It is depends on the plate size. Okay. And that is nearly about, see here they have shown the 5 into BP, that is width of the base plate. Okay. Whatever the plate size that we are using, the width of the trench should be at least 5 times the plate size. Okay. Write down this formula. Everyone please write down. Thickness of the plate which is used here, whatever the plate we are using for the conducting the test, plate flow test, the thickness of the plate should be at least 25 mm. Please write down this term. Thickness at least 25 mm. Thickness at least 25 mm. Size 300 mm to 700 mm. Then this ratio dP by Vp should nearly equal to the dF by Bf, width to the depth ratio. Shape of the plate must or maybe square or maybe circular depending on the shape of foundation. Shape may be square, shape may be circular.
Your test plate should be in circular shape. Okay, next type of loading. How do you apply the load? That totally depends upon your site, your condition, what kind of resources you have available onto the ground, and as well as the accessibility of that test site as well. Okay, the first one, where most of the time it is used, where resources are not that much available, that is gravity load. In gravity load, what you do is you use number of dead weights. Either sometimes these dead weights are in the form of sandbags, sometimes you have concrete blocks available onto the ground, sometimes you have bricks available onto the ground, sometimes you don't have sand but you have soil. So what you do, you fill that soil inside some bags and you put it above this steel beam or steel joist, and there is a hydraulic jack available. Now in this case, hydraulic jack perform a very different role. What role does it perform? It applies the load gradually, because you have kept all the dead weight at the same time, but you don't apply the entire load onto the plate in a single go. What you do, you apply the load gradually, you keep on increasing the load. So that is what the function of this hydraulic jack is over here. Okay, so the next one is a reaction load. In reaction load, you don't have the sandbags or any other dead weight, but instead what you have a hydraulic jack which is present over here. The job of this hydraulic jack is to apply the load gradually onto your plate which is present at the bottom. Now then you have a reaction truss or a reaction beam, as the picture that I have shown you like that. The job of this reaction truss or reaction beam is to hold the hydraulic jack into the position, because once you start applying the load bottom vertically downward, there will be reaction generated in upward direction. The job of this truss or this reaction beam is to counteract that reaction, and then this reaction this truss or this beam or this, sometime it is a steel joist, is placed onto the ground by using some supporting arrangement. Okay, so depending upon the type of resources you have, you could conduct any type of test. You will see there are different ways, different jugaad kind of technologies are available. Sometime even I have seen some digging equipments are also used to apply the load. So that depends, as I said, upon your resources that are available to you onto your site. Okay, this is about type of loading. Next, the test procedure itself. So once you are done the entire arrangement, everything is on the place. The first thing that you do, you apply the seeding load or seeding pressure of 7 kilonewton per meter square, and you apply it, keep it some time, then you release it. Now, why we do that? This seeding load has a function of setting your plate at a position, because let's say you start applying the load and your plate moves a little bit. So what will happen? Your entire test will fail. So what you need to do, you need to apply a seeding load, make sure your plate is properly set in a position. If it moves a little bit, you can adjust it manually, then you can start the actual loading. Now, when you do the actual load, what you do is the first load that you apply is equals to 1/10 of anticipated safe load. Let's say you are a damn good civil engineer, so you will know how much this soil onto the side is going to take, how much load this soil is going to take. Okay, so let's say you know that this soil is going to take 1000 kilonewton. So what you do, the first load that you apply is equals to 1/10 of the 1000, that is 100 kilonewton. So your first load is 100 kilonewton. Then what you do, then afterward you keep on increasing the load by 20% of the safe load. The safe load is 1000, determine 20% of the 1000, then you keep on increasing the load. So 1/10 plus 20% plus 20% plus 20% plus 20%, you keep on increasing the load. So then you determine load versus settlement data. You record this data, it is very important. How do you increase the load? So first 20%, first you apply 1/10, then after 1 minute you increase it by 20%, then again after 5 minutes you increase it by 20%, again after 10 minutes. So this is how you keep on doing the load till 60 minutes. Once the 60 minutes is done, then you increase the load by 20% after every 1 hour. Okay, this is what keeps going on until the test need to be stopped. Now the question is, when do you stop the testing? So there are different school of thought, there are different codes, different ways of, different methods of stopping the load, different criteria are there. So the first criteria is that if your applied load reaches 1.5 times of the safe load. As we have discussed, let's say your expected safe load is 1000 kilonewton, so you will stop this test on if your applied load becomes 1500 kilonewton. That is the one way. Other way is if your settlement reaches 25 mm. So that is also another way of stopping the test. Or in sometimes what happen, your plate fails in excessive settlement. Let's say it is not reaching 25 mm. Let's say you are doing the test and after some time you find out that there is a settlement equals to 15 mm, and after 15 mm to 20 mm, that gap of 5 mm is reached in a very short period of time. That means there is an excessive settlement and the soil below the plate has failed. So you can also stop the test. So these are the 3 different criteria. This criteria is basically used, the last one is basically used in case of a soil, a clay soil or a mud or a marshland where there is a possibility of excessive settlement, or either otherwise what you do, you stop at 1.5 mm or 25 mm settlement. So this 25 mm settlement is probably the most accurate way of stopping your test. Okay, next you record load versus settlement data. That is very important because that load versus settlement data is going to help you in determining safe bearing capacity as well as the safe load of the foundation. Okay, so this load versus settlement curve, this looks like this. On x-axis you have pressure in kilonewton per meter square, you can have ton in meter square or whatever, and you have the settlement either in centimeter or mm. Okay, you plot this data by using data available after the plate load test. There are 3 different curves you may get. Okay, so the first type of curve that you get, which is shown over here, is for a dense sand and gravel, or sometime for a over consolidated clay. So what is happening in the first curve, once you start applying the load, your settlement is increasing very gradually, very slowly, it is taking more load, because it is a dense sand. Of course, it will take more load. Once a particular settlement is reached, after that you see a very steady or very sharp increase in the settlement. That is the point where your soil is failing. That kind of failure we have seen in consolidation as well as in other chapters. This kind of behavior shown by a dense or over consolidated clay. Another type of curve that you may get is this curve number 2, which is for a loose sand and soft clay. This curve is very smooth. It does not show any spike like this in a curve 1, but the load versus settlement is very gradual in nature. The third curve that you see in between first and second curve, it is for a typical C5 soil. Most of the soil will show you this kind of curve. Okay, it is neither very soft nor it is very dense, so it will show a behavior in between these two. Okay, so how we can determine actual safe bearing capacity by using this curve? You can find out that in our second video on plate load test that I will upload in couple of days. We'll do one numerical where you can actually see how this curve is basically used. Okay, next is determination of bearing capacity. There's a one formula given by Terzaghi and Peck. This formula is used for determining the settlement of the plate as well as for the foundation. So where S stand for settlement of proposed foundation in mm, that value is basically you have to assume, usually it is assumed as a 25 mm. SP is the settlement of the plate that is happening after the you conduct the plate load test. These two values are in mm. Size of the foundation, that is nothing but width of foundation in meter, and as well as the width of plate in meters. Important thing to remember over here is that this formula, this 0.3 is that you see over here, it only comes when your settlement is in mm and your sizes are in meter. That is important. If you change this, then your formula may also change. So to avoid any confusion, you should always remember that settlement you need to put in mm and size of the foundation you need to put in meter. Okay, this is formula for sand given by Terzaghi and Peck. This is a one more formula for clay, because clay has a very like you have seen this curve number 2, which is a very smooth curve. It means that Young's modulus is constant over here. That's why you have a very simple formula for settlement for clay. Okay, so these two formulas are used for the sand as well as clay. Next video lecture, this is all for plate load test. Next video lecture we'll do one numerical on this plate load test where you can actually see how to use load versus settlement data in order to determine the safe load as well as safe bearing capacity. And next thing, you can find out the notes on plate load test available. Load versus settlement.
Everyone, please write down this test procedure.
याला टाकलेलं का तुम्ही टाकलेलं पण नव्हतं जर शेवटी
Everyone, please write down this test procedure. Write down the test procedure. Okay, we will stop here only. Next part, remaining part, we will see into the next lecture. You can mark your attendance to the chat box, then you can left. If you want, you can draw this figure. Mark your attendance to the chat box, then you can left.
Bricks available onto the ground sometimes.
If you want, you can draw this figure. Let's take the screenshot. Mark your attendance to the chat box, then you can left.